everybody. This is Diane. Hello and welcome to Biters. And Marn, I'm cutting you off at 9:30.
The bad news is we'll probably put you to sleep talking, but the good news is we'll still be talking when you wake up.
Oh my god, that is so funny.
Oh.
Because we talk.
Yeah. And one of our listeners did say that. They said they fell asleep to us talking, but they also woke up to us talking. So
yeah. That was someone who was listening to our OnlyFans podcast over on Real Housewives.
I'm shocked our cackling did not wake them up.
Well, all I can say is we can say he has heard me laugh a lot over the last few weeks, so it's all good.
Was that Smalls groaning?
That was Smalls groaning. Yeah, that is a thing, legit.
Smalls is like, oh god, she won't shut up laughing.
More like, oh god, she's talking about him again.
All right, we are here to podcast Fear the Walking Dead, Season 6, Episode 8, The Door.
All right.
Should be called The Dory.
The Dory. Oh, I like that. That's good. Wow. I won't say this was a divisive episode. I would say the stuff that I read online today, people are really angry.
Yeah. So
I mean, there are a few people on Aim for the Head who are like, this was a steaming pile of dung. But most of us are like, what did they just do?
Yeah, I'm not going to say that I'm happy, but I'm also not mad, so...
I would say that's a fair assessment. I would probably agree.
But it's better than indifferent, which is what I usually am, so...
Or mad, but mad because the episode sucked, not because of what happened in the episode, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So, Thomas O'Mara was asking us, like, all week if we had watched the episode, and I waited until, like, Friday night, Saturday.
I'm thinking maybe Saturday, because I honestly was messaging back and forth with Diana and Steve, and I was like, don't spoil Marnell, because I don't think she's watched it yet.
Yeah, it's kind of like everyone was like, you have to watch it. So I was like, nope, I'm going to wait.
I'm going to be transgressive and not watch until the last minute.
Exactly. And like halfway through it, I'm like, what are you people talking about? This is a mediocre episode. And whoa, what just happened?
So I have some of Thomas's comments, and I'll share more of it in feedback, but he said, did you spoil it for her? And I said, no. And he said, we'll see how her cold black heart handles this.
I didn't cry, but I was shocked.
So Phil actually told me that he cried.
Oh,
I know. I said, Phil, can I say that on the podcast?
Oh, well, it's out now.
No, he gave me permission.
Okay.
He gave me permission.
Okay. Yeah, apparently me and Dakota are like crowning members of the Cold and Dead Inside Club.
You know, I'm not cold and dead inside anymore.
Did you cry?
I didn't cry, but I'm not cold and dead inside anymore.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see the repercussions of, the aftermath. Because June is not going to be a very happy person.
No, and Tom did say that he talked to someone, how am I going to say this? Highly placed in the production team, and that person said, hold on, because it's going to be crazy.
And I have a bold prediction.
Oh, do you want to make your bold prediction now, or do you want to make it later?
So I'll make it now.
Okay, and then we have to do ratings. We can't forget that.
No. Yeah. So, okay, we have been talking about, and everyone's been reading about, how they are clickbaity teasing that Madison is coming back to the show. We're going to see Madison again. Madison will be back. What if they're going to turn June into the new Madison character? Like, the plots that they probably had laid out for Madison for years to come, and then when Madison died, they're like, well, what do we do now? I honestly think Jenna Elfman is going to be our new leader
Okay, I think that would be fine, but I think
do
for
too.
them to advertise it like, and this is the new Madison, and she got all... No, that would not be okay.
And so that's half of the reason why I think they're going to do it, is that they're going to be like, oh, this is what we really meant. Like, we were just teasing you with the return of Madison.
I really don't want them to take it and jack it up this way. I'm just saying.
Kim Dickens. Yeah. I honestly think they're going to be like, oh, no, we didn't mean Kim Dickens was coming back, but a Madison-like character is going to take over. But I'd be totally happy with June leading us, because I like Jenna Elfman. And, okay, I will tell you that I did not cry when John Dory died, but when Jenna Elfman started crying on The Talking Dead, I got a bit of a catch in my throat, and even now I'm a little misty. Like, yeah, when Jenna Elfman started to react, I was like, nope, can't look. Like, I'll listen, but I can't look at her face. I'm gonna cry. So, yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Who rates it? You or me? Who's first?
I will rate, because I think you rated the Housewives episode first.
Okay.
So I rated it a 4.65, murderous teenage girls in the apocalypse.
You rated it what? I'm sorry. I was looking at a message from Phil, and I was being a jerk and not paying attention. It was not a message from anybody other than Phil.
4.65, murderous teenage girls in the apocalypse.
Okay.
So
we rated it pretty close.
This is the second time we have shockingly lost a character to a teenage girl with a gun. That's how we lost Nick.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. And we were all shocked then, too. So.
Oh, my goodness. Because I was thinking about Lizzie, and I was like, well, Lizzie killed Mika with a knife, not a gun. Yeah. No, you're right.
Stay away from teenage girls in the apocalypse.
You know, I told Rob last night when we watched the Walking Dead pilot together, I was like, look, we have a saying, children and horses do not fare well in the Walking Dead universe.
Yep.
Apparently, people who run awry of young women with guns in the apocalypse don't fare well either.
Young women in the apocalypse are just emotionally unstable.
Well, you know, young women are just emotionally unstable.
I wasn't going to say it.
All right, I did, so here we are.
And as having been young women ourselves, we can say it.
Right, and you know what? As having been an old woman now, life is much better at 50.
Oh, yeah. Like, the older you get, it, like, fine wine, definitely.
Most definitely.
So, what did you rate the episode? Because you said it was similar.
Ours is similar in content and similar in numeric value. So, I rated it 4.5 Coletti siblings out of 5. So, for people who may not have listened to our Preacher podcast, Zoe Coletti is the sister of Ian Coletti, who played Arseface in Preacher.
Yes.
Which, when you look at their faces, when Ian Coletti is not in his makeup, you can completely see it. Whoa. Sorry, did you hear that?
You clicked on something that
I clicked on like a TikTok thing that somebody else shared, which was bad. So... Okay. I have Facebook open because I'm waiting to read some more of Tom O'Mara's comments, not because I'm jerking around on Facebook, but I'm kind of jerking around on Facebook. So
methinks you just protest too much tonight.
I will tell you that the person with whom I am usually texting is not available for another 1 hour and 50 minutes. So
which is why she's cutting us off at 9:30.
Oh, and it's a good thing he's seasons behind in terms of listening to biters.
All right. So what do you got?
So I've got a few numbers, not much, because we're actually podcasting a little later than I had originally prepped for. So let me see if there's numbers for this Specifically, because I did not look those up tonight. I forgot that I was going to do that. I had some numbers for Here's Negan that we didn't have the last time that we podcasted.
So I feel like IMDb is rating Fear the Walking Dead really high this season. This episode got an 8.2, and while I agree with that...
I was going to say, I'm actually okay with that rating for this episode.
Yeah, I mean, they are averaging about an 8.25... 8.5,
which you and I and Diana and Steve all pretty much agree that there was not much that was good about the first half of season 6. Sorry, Tom.
No, and
Sorry, Tom.
What's funny is, so I actually did 2 rewatches of this episode tonight because I was trying to rewatch while I was doing some work. And it was just, it worked like formatting spreadsheets. So I was trying to watch, but then
So you'll really only lose the state hundreds of thousands of dollars as compared to millions if you misformat the spreadsheet. I did not just say that out loud.
Honestly, it's like I do it so much that, you know, I could practically do it in my sleep, but apparently I can't watch an episode I'm going to podcast about at the same time. I have to do it twice. So I was trying to, like, my focus was more on work than it was the episode. So I had to rewatch. But I also watched Damage from the Inside, which is the
one right before.
Right, mid-season finale. Because when I watched my first 2 times, I didn't understand how Morgan got injured again. And so then when I finally rewatched and paid attention, I was like, okay, his injury opened, his old wound opened up. But
which is pretty symbolic when you say it that way. His old wound opened back up. Yeah.
So I actually kind of did a rewatch of Damage from the Inside, and that was the kind of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre episode with the taxidermy gone awry.
Oh, that was an awful episode. Oh God.
It had so much promise because I
know, because you like the creepy, like, horror movie vibe.
Element. Yeah, because they did it so well on Walking Dead Prime.
Yeah, they really did, because they did it with Beta coming into Alexandria.
Right, Stalker.
Yeah, that was a great episode.
Good episode.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, do you have the numbers?
I do. So, since you mentioned Damage from the Inside, I'm going to compare the numbers for Damage from the Inside to this. So, Damage from the Inside was 1.09 million views. This actually had 1.17 million views. However, the season premiere, The End is the Beginning, had 1.59 million views. So, it's dropped off quite a bit.
That was rated an 8.8.
The End is the Beginning?
Yeah.
Wow.
The highest rated episode.
I think it will be very interesting to see if people are so angry about The Door to see if they drop off, or if they watch next week to find out what happens after we lost John Dorie in this horrible way. It'll be interesting to see what next week's numbers are.
You know, it totally will be. There's so many characters I still care about. Alicia, for one, but, you know.
Yeah,
I
you and
still
Steve.
Care about. But, like, I still care about Salazar, and I still care about Coleman Domingue, you know, like, and of course Jenna Elfman, because she's Jenna Elfman, and also I think that they really are setting her up to be the new leader of the group.
Okay, I have to take a total detour about Steve for a minute. Did you see his comment on my picture today?
I have not been on Facebook.
Oh my God, it was so funny. So, you guys, I posted a selfie today, and I'm wearing I wore a dress that I really like, but it's got like a tank top. It does not have sleeves, and I have pretty heavy tattooing on both forearms, and I find when I am in clinic that if I don't wear long sleeves, 9 times out of 10 patients are staring at my tattoos. I mean, like, they literally will sit and stare at my tattoos, and I'm like, dude, my eyes are up here. So I said today on this picture, I was like, yeah, I love this dress, but I'm going to put a sweater on so that people don't stare at my tats. And Steve was like, did you say tats? And I was like, Steve, the one not so great, the tats are spectacular. So hi, Steve.
Hi.
All right. So that's what I have in terms of numbers. In terms of the title, and I'm sorry that I didn't write down the stuff that the showrunners said in the interview, because I did watch the post episode interview. But, obviously The Door, John talks about getting a door to keep the past out. And I was like, is it past P-A-S-T or past P-A-S-S-E-D, which is what he calls the biters, the zombies.
Right.
Because you could look at it both ways.
Exactly. I think it was meant to be ambiguous. Like, I didn't have closed captioned on, but you could take it either or both.
So in closed caption, it was P-A-S-T, but I mean, really, that's just some transcribers. I mean, it's some person's idea of what they're saying. It's not I could be wrong, but I don't think it's necessarily transcribed from the script.
Right.
So it really could go either way. I mean, the other thing was obviously The Door was going to be John Dory's salvation and return to life because he floated on the door down the river to get to his cabin.
Yeah.
There was something else that the showrunner who was interviewed said, and I honestly can't remember. Do you remember? Did you write anything down?
I don't remember, but I do remember thinking, nah, that's taking it a bit far.
You're not quite a knucklehead, but we're pretty close. Stop talking. Stop talking while you're ahead.
Just like, it was about the physical actual door. Like, let's be real.
Okay, well, that leads us into who the writers were, and the writers were the two showrunners, Ian Goldberg and Andrew Chambliss. And I will honestly say that this is the best thing they've done in ages. I know Steve disagrees, and he will continue to call them the two knuckleheads. Tonight, I will not call them the two knuckleheads. I actually really liked this episode.
So I liked the latter half of the episode. I had a
when
lot
John
of
died.
problems. I had a lot of problems with the first half of the episode.
Well, there's definitely something in my bad that I think we both agree on. In fact, I think it might be both of our bads, but We'll talk more about that.
I got plenty of bads. So
oh my god, that's so funny. I can't say that I have plenty of bads. I mean, I actually really like this episode, and I think it's funny that you rated it higher than I did, but you have more bads.
Yeah, I really, really liked the good parts.
I have tons of bads, but I really liked the good parts, like when John died.
I think I've been inoculated against like nitpicking so much because there's just been so much to nitpick the past few years that I'm, it's just like, yeah, it was terrible, but it's okay.
That is so funny.
It's not terrible. I would probably still be watching the show if I weren't podcasting about it because it's a Walking Dead property.
They might have lost me like last season with the beer can balloon. All right. Our director, we have talked about him endlessly, Michael Satrazemis. He is actually directing next week as well. I just want to say The Grove. And for Fear the Walking Dead, he actually directed Laura, which is where we first met June, right?
Yeah.
So
wow.
I think it was kind of a cool bookend that he did that one and this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll get to it.
All right. So we agreed that our featured cast should be Garrett Dillahunt since we lost him. There was part of me that was like, maybe we should do two featured casts because Zoe Colletti was really amazing too. But maybe we can talk about her next week because I think she'll be in next week also.
Oh, I'm sure she'll be definitely a featured cast member at some point.
Yeah. Have we talked about her before? I don't think we have.
I feel like we have.
Do ya?
Yeah, because either that or one of us told the other one about her being Ian Coletti's sister.
Oh, well, the only reason I knew it was because they talked about it on Talking Dead. Yes, I did watch Talking Dead.
Yeah, I watched it, but I don't remember a whole lot of it. Like,
did you fall asleep 20 minutes in?
I seriously, Jenna Elfman started like crying within like the first 3 minutes, and I was like, oh, like, peace out. Gonna play on my phone.
My cold black heart can't handle this. No tears. No tears. It's not a thing.
Well, because I mean, that's real life. She is, he is really going to be missed on the show and on the set, So, like, I like Jenna Elfman. So, yeah, it's really, it was sad to see her sad in real life.
Yeah, it was. By the way, her hair looks amazing.
Yes.
As someone who has amazing hair, her hair looked amazing.
I think that was like the second thing I said to you. I was like, Jenna Elfman is crying, but she looks amazing.
Oh my God, we're awful. All right, Garrett Dill-Hunt. So we've talked about him before because I remembered this and I remembered thinking it was really cool. And then I found out a little more information. So he studied journalism at UW in Seattle. But did you know that he was raised in Yakima?
I think we did talk about that. Because, of course, I was born in Yakima.
Right. Marn and I are like Central Washington girls. And Yakima, we've spent plenty of time there in our youth.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah. So my dad owned a house in Cle Elum. In fact, my family owns the oldest house in Cle Elum.
Oh my God. And people are going to be like, Cle Elum? What? What? What did you just say?
So I would have been born in Cle Elum, but my mom had a C-section. So the closest like major hospital was Yakima. So that's why I was born in Yakima.
And people are, Yakima? What?
Try that again.
Okay, Garrett Dill-Hunt graduated from NYU's graduate acting program. He has a total of 86 actor credits. I just want to highlight a few of them. So Deadwood, which of course we've talked about before, he was in The Gifted, which was the mutant series on Fox, right?
Yes.
He was in Hand of God with Ron Perlman, who runs a mean, and I mean that in a good way, although other people would be disturbed, Twitter account.
Okay, so season 1 of Hand of God was so good, and Garrett Dill-Hunt's character was awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think I watched like I watched 1 or 2 episodes, and then, as I do often with things, fell off. So I have not seen any more than a couple of episodes. But I do dig Ron Perlman a lot, and not just because of his politics. So Garrett Dill-Hunt was also in Justified. He was in Raising Hope, which I watched a few episodes of that and fell off. I know that you and Amy really like it.
I really liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was the dad, so he was in like every single episode.
So super excited. The stuff that I looked up were the post-credit or the post-production, the new things that he's worked on.
Yes.
So I want to bring up first, and yes, we have some Zack Snyder trauma still.
I was looking at that.
Totally. So
it's gonna be 3 hours long.
Oh my God, is it really 3 hours long? Are you kidding me?
2 hours and 52 minutes.
Oh my God, just shoot me now. Okay, so Army of the Dead is a Zack Snyder property that Garrett Dill-Hunt and Dave Bautista, who most of you probably know, played in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Mm-hmm. He's Drax.
Yes, so they are going to be in a movie about the zombie outbreak in Las Vegas. But I will tell you, I wrote, Zack Snyder, no! And then Jamie Burns posted about it tonight, and I was like, oh, all right. It's Garrett Dill-Hunt and Dave Bautista and zombies, so I'm in, but it's Zack Snyder, so I'm not sure that I'm all in.
Okay, so it looks really good, but it also kind of looks like, I just lost my train of thought. The Suicide Squad in the zombie apocalypse. That's what it looks like to me.
Oh, well, gotta nickel and dime that storyline. I just said that. I still have some Snyder trauma. It does release in theaters and on Netflix on May 21st. I will not watch it in a theater. I will most likely watch it on Netflix.
Yeah, me too.
But I'm not going to put myself through another Snyder cut. So if I'm like an hour in and I'm like, this is not going anywhere, I'm not putting myself through it. No trauma. No trauma.
Yeah.
That would be like another 2 hours of my life I couldn't get back if I was an hour in and it was horrible. So no, not doing it. Okay, so the other movie that he mentioned is a movie called Ambulance, which is a Michael Bay movie. I'm struggling with the fact that it's a Michael Bay movie.
Michael Bay gets way too much hate.
Garrett just needs to find some better directors. But it is a movie with Jake Gyllenhaal, who I really like. And it sounds like it could be really sideways, really fast. The plot is two robbers steal an ambulance after their heist goes awry. So I'm thinking they probably steal an ambulance that's got somebody in the back of it. Because that could go south really fast.
So, two robbers, and the top three cast are Eliza Gonzalez, Jake Gyllenhaal, and Garrett Dillahunt. So one of them is the patient, and the other two are the robbers.
There you go.
I could see Isa. It's Isa Gonzalez. I could see her being one of the robbers, and maybe Garrett Dillahunt being the patient. Who knows?
Or her being the patient. Maybe she's pregnant. Bold prediction.
We will have to wait a year to find out. It releases February of 2022.
Unless COVID messes everything up again.
It has a tendency to do that.
It does have a tendency to do that.
So did you see the other movie that he is going to be in post-production?
So he is in two other movies. Blonde, which is about the inner life of Marilyn Monroe, which sounds great. And then a movie called The Long Home that has Josh Hartnett in it.
Josh Hartnett and James Franco. Yep. And Ashton Kutcher. Wow, I haven't heard from Ashton Kutcher in a really long time.
There's an awful lot of testosterone in that movie. Courtney
Love's in it, but she's like 8 or 9 people down. So
yeah, not sure. Probably watch Blonde before I watch that. Probably watch Ambulance and Army of the Dead before I watch that. Do you have anything else you want to say about Garrett other than we will miss him horribly? Dory was absolutely one of my favorite characters in this whole series.
Yes. So there is an article on UPI.com, and they interviewed Garrett Dillahunt, and he says, I still probably haven't recovered physically from The Walking Dead.
Oh, I'm glad you clicked on that one because I didn't click on that one.
Yeah, so he talks about just how physically demanding being on the show is. And he really, really complained about Texas in March. Apparently it's super cold, which I have to say we haven't been over 40 degrees in like 2 months. So you could talk to me about cold when you're up here.
Yeah, you're not feeling any pity for Garrett?
Yeah, no, but he did say that, that basically there was a lot of loss of sleep and, the physically demanding stunts. And he's like, even just walking over uneven ground all of the time is just physically exhausting, and he's only been doing it for 3 seasons. You have to think that Lenny James has been doing this for God knows how long.
Right. And I mean, I was going to say, when you really look at it, Lenny James started out with us in the very first episode of Walking Dead in 2010. So he's been doing this for 11 years off and on, mostly on.
Yeah. Yeah. He describes himself as an antsy guy. And so it kind of sounds like maybe that's why he wanted to move on to do other things.
So that was one of the articles that I had, which was a different article. Garrett Dillahunt confirmed he's been looking to move on because he's antsy and, I quote, have some other things I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So, I mean, we get it.
Yeah. Not everybody can be 11 seasons in, Norman Reedus. But, it's so funny. So I actually was listening to our retrospective on the pilot of the series because I sent that to Rob so that he could listen. And the one that we did with Thomas O'Mara. And we were talking about different casts, and I think we had just finished season 7 at that point. And we were all like, yeah, probably not going to have Norman Reedus for much longer. And Tom was like, yeah, he's getting way too big for this series. And here he is.
What's funny is that's such an interesting comparison because they both had long and storied careers before the series. They weren't blockbuster stars or anything, but they had plenty of credits to their name. Mm-hmm. And it's just interesting to see that Norman Reedus has, been with us 10 strong seasons of, like 8 strong seasons of Walking Dead Prime. And Garrett Dill was ready to move on after 3. And he is also a very beloved character. So it's kind of an interesting comparison because they're very similar.
Yeah, I'm actually, like, when I reflect back on our discussion of the pilot, I'm a little shocked that Norman Reedus is still all in this far in, and that he's apparently signed up for another series.
Right?
Yeah.
I would not have predicted that.
Me either. I would have thought that he... Go ahead.
I thought we were going to be done at season 10. I think in season 8, maybe the end of season 7, I was like, oh, yeah, it's not going to go past 10. I was close.
You were pretty close, but here we are with basically 11 and 12, even though it's being billed as 11.
Yeah.
Okay, Whisperer's Corner. There's a few things for Whisperer's Corner. So the first is that Jeffrey Dean Morgan's son is appearing in season 11, episode 5. He has been cast as the featured walker, and apparently he is beside himself. This was kind of clickbaity, but at this point there are no plans for a crossover between Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead in season 11 of Walking Dead. I suppose they could always change their minds, but that was the clickbait that I clicked on and decided to write down. Frank Darabont's lawsuit. So there are parts that got dismissed. AMC's motion for summary judgment was granted, but Darabont's breach of contract claim, which apparently is the biggest part of his lawsuit, is still going to move forward. So
God,
it sounds like
how long has that thing been going on?
Right. It sounds like he's lost some money. It sounds like he still is in it for quite a bit of money if he's successful. Okay. Skybound X, which I'm not sure what the difference between Skybound and Skybound X is because I didn't read that far, is reviving a, quote, whimsical, non-canonical, I'm not sure if I said that right, adventure involving Rick Grimes. So, apparently there is going to be, like, a couple of issues or, like, a one-off issue in Skybound X about Rick Grimes. And apparently it makes reference to the thing that Kirkman has said in the past, which is that aliens are responsible for the zombie apocalypse. So it sounds like it's just supposed to be for fun and, like, not a thing, but...
Kind of like the alternate universe type,
Yeah. And it sounds like... I think I actually remember reading that it was like a 6-episode arc because they are also going to have Clementine, who was part of the Telltale Games series, who was the biggest part of the Telltale Games series, be in these comic book issues. Let's see. So I did click on a thing at express.co.uk, which basically was like, fans are completely enraged about John Dory's death. Again, a little clickbaity, but I think overall the gestalt of the internet, I think most people are pretty ticked off that Dory got killed off.
See, and I wouldn't say ticked off. I would say sad or disappointed.
Although it's a little easier to tolerate when you know that the actor was like, I'm ready to move on.
Yeah. Yeah, and we'll get into it, but I think that the way he went out sucked. The way that his death was handled was great so far.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that the death scene itself and where he crawls up on the shore and June runs out to him, I think that was a great scene.
Yeah. So I wanted to make the joke, but Eric Kane of Forbes already did it.
Oh, thank you. I didn't look at the Kane or Tassie articles this week. I don't know what I was thinking.
I didn't see a Tassie article,
Okay.
but Eric Kane said, Fear the Walking Dead Season 6, Episode 8 review, just keep swimming.
Oh.
So he used the...
That's awful.
Well, and he also, it was a reference
Yeah.
to Dory from Finding Nemo.
Yes, absolutely.
But of course, you know, he had to swim for his life. Yeah.
Yeah. No, the whole thing is awful. Awful.
It's
terrible.
I thought it too. And then I was like, okay, I will give him the clever.
The only other thing I have in Whisperer's Corner is that there is a new game that got released on Google Play or in the Google Play Store yesterday. It's a mobile game called Walking Dead Survivors. I didn't find out a whole lot more about what the game is. The article was pretty brief, but the picture shows Glenn, Andrea, and Rick all together kind of facing off some zombies. So I thought that was very interesting. And they're the characters from the comic book, not the character from the series. I don't know if it's like a Walking Dead Our World kind of game or how exactly it's played. I didn't read. Biters fans, if you have any feedback, if you've played this game, let us know. Marn, if you get really inspired and download this game, let me know. Because it's on your platform, not mine. So...
You know, I am so far. I still play almost on a daily basis The Walking Dead Our World.
Okay, I will tell you that I know someone who hunts Pokemon, so here we are.
Which is, you know, I'm level like 29.
I can't believe that there are enough zombies to hunt that you can still play it in Juno.
Okay, so they have expanded the map very well, and they also, since COVID hit, they were very gracious to introduce new features to the game, such as basically being able to, and of course some of them you do have to pay for, expanding your area available. So I pay for, it's called Daryl's Bike, and I can reach things that like are in other neighborhoods. And so not just my little, 250 feet, in each direction. And then they also introduced Judith's Compass, which enables you to, I can actually like basically drive the motorcycle, or if I didn't have the motorcycle, I'd be running. But I can actually get like about 4 miles from my house in the game. My character can. So since COVID hit, they have introduced some really cool game features to help keep people playing the game while staying safe at home.
That's cool.
So, it is. It's very cool of a game to sort of, encourage civic responsibility, social duty, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm still just about a daily player.
Wow.
I know.
I gave up on that a couple of years ago. Wasn't in an area where I could make it worth my while, and I was spending money on it, and it was kind of a dumb thing to spend money on. So
it's literally the only online game I play, so that's how I justify it. Is I don't go to the movies, I don't go out to the bars, like there's nothing else to do. So that's how I justify it to myself.
I am not going to download the new Walking Dead game because I don't need any more distractions in my life.
I I don't need more impulse buys. I've gotten so good at that, with Instacart, so that like I'm not wandering around a store, buying stuff just to shop, and like not buying stuff at the check stand, and so my only trigger impulse buys are now like TikTok tells me I need to buy something on Amazon.
Oh my God, that is so funny and so awful. Amazon tells me I need to buy something on Amazon. I will confess that I bought a red trench coat yesterday.
Ooh.
I didn't buy the purple one. I bought a red one. Actually, and that one wasn't purple. When I read closer, it was gray. So I was like, no, buy the red one.
When in doubt, red or black?
When in doubt, red or purple or black.
Yeah, that's very true.
So
I always wind up buying gray, though, because it hides dog hair so well.
Oh, I know. And there's nothing in my life that hides dog hair right now. Ugh. Smalls. I really was ready to just shave him and stick him out off of a fence post the other day. I'm surprised he's not sighing at hearing that. All right. What was that?
He has no shame.
He has zero shame and zero F's to give.
All right.
Housewives housekeeping. So we last week podcasted about OnlyFans, the documentary OnlyFans Selling Sexy. Marnell has informed me that I need to open up an OnlyFans page to pay for my my speeding tickets. I might have gotten a speeding ticket yesterday on my way into Anchorage. Yeah. So
I am strangely silent about that.
About OnlyFans or about my ticket?
Uh-huh.
We also podcasted this week, and I'll get it edited when I edit this and post this, about Going Clear, which is the documentary on HBO about Scientology.
Mm-hmm.
And the book was great. You downloaded the book as an Audible book, right?
I did. I need to start
Very
it.
good. Work
was so crazy today with meetings, and it's going to be crazy Thursday, but I told my boss I'm going on do not disturb mode all day tomorrow.
Oh my gosh, I'm so far behind, and it was a crazy day, and I was kind of frustrated today because the medical assistant that I have started working with, who I think I'm going to love, who is very fast and a very quick study, was out sick because her little kid was sick, and they kind of have some COVID-y type of symptoms, so she's out. And I ended up with a medical assistant who is a very sweet human being, but as slow as molasses. And I was super frustrated because I had a really busy day. I was exhausted and cranky, and I was like, this is not my best foot forward. This is not the person I want to be.
So she's exhausted and cranky and going to cut us off in 45 minutes.
That's right.
She's like, yeah, we're podcasting tonight.
But I'm cutting you off. But the thing is that I've got a ton of work still to do. I was going to chart tonight, and I'm not going to chart tonight. I'll get up early. But I also have to edit our podcasts and get them up tomorrow. So
yeah,
I'm tired. I'm a tired girl.
One day you will unclench and let me edit the podcast.
Probably. And maybe sooner rather than later at the rate that I'm living. But
I'm down.
All right. We may have to talk about it more.
Okay.
That means I actually have to learn how to teach you how to use Audacity.
Learn how to teach you.
Exactly. Exactly. Not a very good teacher. I'm a good doer. I'm not a good teacher.
Oh.
All right. So that pretty soundly, unless you have other housewife stuff to say, takes us into our goods, bads, and uglies.
No, I think we should get into it.
Okay, you went first, so it's your turn to go first again.
So, my good is probably a lot of people's good. While I didn't want John to die, and I don't like that he is dead, June running to the shore. And I love how she described it. I think it was the director or the writer who was like, just go for it. Like, like if you trip, if you drop something, like just keep going, just go, like it was such like a real moment. Cause like, you believe her panic and, she expressed the exact emotion that I think everyone would feel in that situation, and like she made you feel it. And then to get there and have John like start to come up.
And weren't you like, no, he's not dead. He's not dead.
Yes, I went through the 5 stages of grief. Whatever. I went through all of them.
Denial.
Yeah, I went through all of them in like 0.3 seconds. And I think I went through denial twice because I was like, oh God, no, he's not a zombie. And then I'm like, oh wow, he's really pale. And then I'm like, no, it's a bloodlust. And then you saw the eyes and like, I was like, oh. And like, there was still like 2% of me that's like, no, she's imagining this, like, I absolutely loved how heartbreaking that scene was. So like I said, I don't like that he's dead. And I don't like the way that he went out, but that scene, and to end on it, just to have the knife come up and, she stabs him, and then like, they sort of linger there for, just a minute, and it's that acceptance, it's that final stage of grief. And
kind of the way she touches his head.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was so well done. That is why the rating for this episode got bumped up.
Very cool.
Yep. So what was your good?
So my good was actually Zoe Colletti's monologue with Lenny James. I love the way that this actress carried it. It was really, so she's a young woman, she's a young actress, she did an incredible job. I loved the way it was written.
Mm-hmm.
The whole scene where she's like, I'm the person who patched you up, and the reason that I patched you up is because you are the only one who can put my sister down.
That was a lot of my ugly.
Oh, that is so funny, because I'm going to tell you right now, your good was my ugly, so my ugly was apparently your good.
Oh, that's hilarious. Proof positive.
Well, that's going to make it quick. And I have a feeling our bads were the same also.
Probably. So, yeah, I love the way, that she was saying it through gritted teeth, because she was just so determined that you are the only one that can kill my sister. The only reason why you're still alive is, you're the only one who can kill my sister. Yeah.
As your sister, I kind of resent that remark.
I have 3 sisters, just FYI.
Yeah, and really there's only one that you don't want to kill on a regular basis.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, yeah.
So, what was your bad?
I actually think that our bads are, it may be the same. The whole truck scene.
Oh, I was going to say the whole bridge scene. So, okay. Yeah, they were pretty much the same.
Yep. Okay.
It was boring.
Well, and it was, Eric Kane made some really good points. So before I get into the things that he went through, my questions are, why are they driving so slow? Why can't they all 3 be in the cab? Why did they not clear a bunch of them out, like poking them with the long stick through the fence before they let the gate go? Why doesn't John carry a knife? Why does he always have to bash them in the head with the butt of his gun?
Because that's what an old Wild West sheriff would do.
An old Wild West sheriff would have some sort of knife on him.
You're probably right.
Even Dakota kept the murder weapon.
We'll talk about that.
So, Eric Kane was like, why couldn't they have gotten a better vehicle? Why do they have to like fix up this old truck? And by the way, I find it completely implausible that a truck that's been sitting since John was a kid was able to be fixed up in an afternoon with what they had on hand.
And they didn't even use all of the little brainiacs who like fixed the the airplane.
Trust me, like rubber tubes rot if you don't cycle the fluids through. Like it's not happening without major equipment and a Napa Auto Parts nearby. Like, I don't care how many. Like Daryl had to find the right size tube in like, he had to search 3 different cars or whatever to get his bike running, and it was just the one line that he needed to replace. But this truck. No, the tires would have rotted out by no gas, really, like unless the tank that the truck had was empty, you're gonna mix your new good gas with old gas. No, it's not happening. Anyway, so Eric Kane was like, why couldn't they just like take the boat to the other side of the river, like not at the bridge, and find a vehicle on the other side of the river? Like I'm like, why didn't they have some sort of distraction, like down river or up river or, like away from the bridge to get the walkers, off the bridge and away. Like there's just so many. Why are we doing this? Oh, okay. Lazy writing. I got it.
How?
Hey, that was Eric Kane's words, but I echo them.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think of all of the spots in this episode that were potentially problematic, this is the spot that was problematic.
Yeah.
Otherwise I really like the episode, and I think that I like the episode for the most part more than you did. But yeah, the bridge, the truck, yeah.
Agreed. So we kind of went through my ugly. The only thing that I will add to it was just how callous Dakota was. She shot him.
Right. What did she say? It doesn't always have to mean something, John.
Yes. And then she did not finish him off or just let him collapse there. She pushed him in, like, to die slowly floating in the river. Like, didn't shoot him in the head, didn't, like, shoot him in the leg, and as, like, it was so callous to just shoot him in the chest and push him in. Like, oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah, doesn't always have to mean something.
Stay away from teenage girls in the apocalypse.
Yeah.
Or, just stay away from teenage girls. Like,
there's a little bit to be said for that. I like teenagers, but there's a little bit to be said for that.
They're okay on TikTok.
Oh, that is so funny.
So my good was your ugly. Do you have anything to add to your ugly?
Just that I thought his death was really poignant, and I thought it was well played by both Garrett Dillahunt and Jenna Elfman. And I think you're right. I think that we're going to see really significant repercussions going forward.
Yeah. Yeah, and while I think Jenna is a really good actress, I think a lot of the emotion that translated on screen was real. Like,
because of their friendship and because of the fact that she's going to miss him so much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think she kind of gets into her characters a lot. So I think she was also feeling a little bit of June's emotions. So, yeah, I love that scene.
I would have to say probably one of the highlights of Fear ever. But, for being cold and dead inside, you're kind of a sappy romantic because, Leah and Daryl, June and John.
I like to see other people happy, and it makes me sad to see them sad. And if you make the people that I like to see happy sad, I will make you sad.
threats. No threats. It's all good. Things are good.
I'm just saying, don't mess with my sister. And also, do not hate on any of the cast members. I know that Dakota Coletti.
Oh, don't tell me Zoe Colletti's getting hate.
No, not that I have seen, but I know that there are a lot of feelings around John Dory's death. So
yeah, guys, she's a teenager. She's a teenager. She's an actress. Come on. And
Dakota is a character as well as John Dory. So, like, don't mess with my sister and don't hate on celebs on social media.
Yeah. I like the first and the second. I'm good with both.
Like Chris Hardwick would say, be nice.
Yeah.
Yep. So I think that takes us straight into Rotting Potpourri.
It does. And we're doing very well with our time tonight. Probably because our uglies and goods and they were all the same.
It was all the same. It's all the same.
Okay. So, John in the cabin with the pistol. At first I was a little bit like discombobulated in terms of timing. I was like, is this before he met June? Or is this in the now? Or...
Oh, I didn't even consider that.
Yeah.
I think it's because, like, and I don't know if it's because, okay, so my office setup is I have my three computer monitors because I have two computer monitors and my laptop all lined up. And then, like, directly behind it, like inches behind it, is like a 65-inch TV. And so I got to see John Dory from like 2 feet away, and he was like 4 times the size he, like as I am. And just hyper close up in HD, he looked ragged.
Oh,
so
okay.
I think,
So you weren't like, what's the timing here?
No. I was like, it's definitely later. Yeah.
Okay.
Because he was a baby face when he met June.
Yeah, he was kind of. Now when I think about it, I shouldn't have been thrown off because he was clean shaven and he definitely looked younger. And
you weren't 2 feet from like a 6-foot face.
Oh, that is super funny.
Yeah, like I looked up from doing something with a spreadsheet. And I was like, whoa. That's
really funny.
Like you could see the pores on his face. Oh. So the intro to the show, and I've seen other people make the comparison, it looks like Rick on the bridge, right?
Oh, I totally missed it. I totally didn't even think or see it.
Yeah, so it's John Dory with his pistol pointed directly at a herd of walkers coming over the bridge. So, I mean, it is 100% Rick. And I think that it's interesting. I don't know if I read it or if it might have been the after the credits talking with the writer, that he pointed out, and I had written this in my notes, that John thinks that he can't live in the world because he hesitates to kill people. He was very disturbed by his inability to protect the people he loves because he has a conscience about killing people, which is like completely 100% the opposite of Dakota. But I thought that it was...
Do you think that was why he thought he couldn't live in the world? I thought it was just because the world was so broken.
No, he even said to Morgan that Cameron would still... No, Cameron's girlfriend.
Janice
would still be alive if he didn't hesitate on killing someone. I think it was one of the Rangers. And then he said he almost got Morgan and Dakota hurt because he hesitated to kill the Ranger. What was his name? Ranger
Marcus.
So he was very disturbed that because of his conscience, he feels that he has the inability to protect the people he loves. And I thought it was interesting because we complained so many times in Walking Dead Prime that and I kind of lost my train of thought, but it's something about how like kind of everything that Rick was doing was the repercussions down the road were he was making terrible decisions. And I feel like John was doing the opposite, and he was second guessing himself. Like, Rick never seemed to second guess himself on the people that he killed. You know, it was done in protection of his family and his friends and, you know, the people he loved and wanted to protect. And he never second guessed that. And here John Dory is, and we see the comparison kind of to him out as Rick on the bridge in the credits. And he keeps second guessing himself, you know, in the things that he is hesitating to do. It was kind of this weird flip.
I didn't see it, but I'm glad you did. You know?
Yeah. Speaking of Marcus the Ranger, really, we're gonna dig a 4 foot by 6 foot by like 4 foot hole
for a guy that we don't really dig.
Yeah.
Oh, no pun intended. I didn't mean that. I really didn't mean that. Oh, that was terrible.
God, and we can fit so much into an afternoon without television that we can almost kill ourselves, go into town and take out a bunch of walkers, meet up with Morgan and Dakota, go back to the cabin, which we had to row upstream to get to, cook a meal, formulate a plan, go drive back to town, fix a truck, drive back to town and through all those walkers, like dig a hole, kill Marcus and dig a hole. Like, there's so many hours in a day in the apocalypse. I'm just saying. There was a lot. This was like 3 days packed into one.
Oh, Smalls is sighing again. Listen, he's like, really? You guys are still talking about Fear the Walking Dead? I thought you hated that show. I just want to say that there was a line between John and Morgan that I really loved, and I'm pretty sure it was John's line, although I didn't write it down. This river has a way of bringing people back to life.
Yeah.
John did say it, and I thought it was so ironic considering we really did think for a brief time at the end that maybe things were going to be okay for John.
Right? Oh, I wish that had been the foreshadowing of the episode. Going back and rewatching, we did get a lot of foreshadowing about Dakota being our murderer, because she found that little piece of the knife and she's like, what's this?
At first I was like, whoa, Dakota's what? Oh my gosh, that was missing the knife was missing a piece of its handle. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and so 2 things I find a little incredulous about that scene is a couple things. John, like, honing in on that knife. I don't know, maybe it was just stuck in his investigator's brain to look at knife handles. Like, so that's totally plausible. But why didn't she stab the knife in and pull it out immediately? Like, why did she let go of it and stand up? Like,
and then she was like, it's fine. Yeah. It's fine. Yeah. Don't look.
And 2, after we get through driving through all of the zombies and they're all laying on, either side of the road, there's like 40 of them piled up. None of them are moving at all. Like, none of them are reaching for the activity that is the 3 people and the truck. And then all of a sudden, like, a couple of them spring to life, and John has to beat one with the butt of his gun, and one grabs Dakota. And like, so I'm like, really? Like, why do they go dormant? I don't think that they go dormant like that. It's just continuity error. Like, bugs me.
You know, they go dormant if they're like alone and don't have any stimulation.
Right.
That's when they go dormant.
Right. Not when there's people 10 feet away.
Right. Or when there's 100 other walkers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I noticed immediately, I was like, okay, either they figured out a way for people to wear masks underneath their zombie makeup, or this was filmed pre-COVID, and it was filmed pre-COVID. They filmed it right before they shut it down. Because I'm like, there's like 50 people in that horde. Like, that's a lot. So it's interesting the way that we will watch movies going forward. It'll be pre-COVID and post-COVID.
You know, I mean, we've talked about all of season 10C, and this, you know, this is showing the way that they filmed because of COVID precautions. This is, and then, yeah. Hat tip to Thomas O'Mara. He first pointed that out.
Yeah, so she's a lot like Jenny. And
oh, you mean Dakota?
Dakota.
So I have to say, I'm glad you said that, because I was like, oh, Dakota's a little sociopath.
Yeah. And I think it was Dory that said, I'm glad Morgan's getting you away from your sister. You're starting to sound like her.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she's like, it's just how life is now. People kill people, people die.
So we haven't gotten the full story about them and their parents and why Dakota is so angry with Ginny. So are we going to find out that Dakota's the monster?
Wow.
I totally thought that when I was watching this.
For as much as I loathe Ginny,
wouldn't that be a crazy twist?
Yeah. And Ginny, not the actress, you know.
Right. Colby Minifie is cool. She's a good actress. We liked her in The Boys.
Yes.
She just has a terribly written part in this.
So that might be a twist I could get behind, even though I don't like Ginny so much. But to turn it on its head and make Dakota the monster would be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Okay, I'll make it happen. Okay, I wrote down, and I know I've talked a little bit about how much I liked Zoe Colletti, but I actually wrote down, Zoe Colletti is adorable, even if she did kill John Dory.
I think it's really good casting. Every time I see her, and I see Ginny.
Like, yeah, they look a lot like sisters.
Sisters, yeah.
I also wanted to bring up a line that Morgan says. He talks about being a ghost. And I thought that was so cool. They mentioned it in the post-scene or post-episode interview, but I didn't so much like the take from the showrunner. My thing was, yeah, Morgan is a ghost. He's a ghost because he's survived so much. And because he's changed so much, and because there were so many times that we thought he was dead and he wasn't. So there are multiple reasons that Morgan is a ghost, and I felt like the showrunner just gave like a really one-dimensional explanation of that line.
Well, and like he said earlier in the season, Morgan Jones is dead.
Right.
Yep.
I also really liked the interaction between John Dory and Dakota while John was working on the truck, because I felt like it was a really normal, happy, like adult, younger person interaction. And it was very interesting to watch that the second time through, knowing what happened.
Yeah. Yeah. And so when Dakota had him at gunpoint, I was convinced that, you know, he was going to talk her out of it. It's John Dory, you know, who shoots John Dory? And especially with the interaction that they had previously had, you know, talking about his dad and, you know, just Yeah, I was completely convinced that he was like, yeah, you're my new reason to go on. We'll get through this, and which just makes Dakota even more of a sociopath.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, a callback that I really liked, the Scrabble tiles, except this time it was Goodbye June.
Oh, so sad. And
Mm-hmm.
kudos to Morgan for working out. There's only
Mm-hmm.
so many things you can spell with those.
And how interesting in terms of the foreshadowing, because we had no idea that that we actually were going to see Dory's death, and that it was going to be completely not what we thought.
Right. I mean, here we all in the beginning were like, oh my God, he's going to kill himself. And then, by the end of it, he wants to live.
Mm-hmm.
So this was almost my good. I really liked that we literally checked in with everybody this episode.
Yeah, we did. We saw Al. We saw
Mo.
Yeah.
We saw Strand. We saw, everybody. Even just for a minute, even if they didn't speak, we saw them.
Did we see Charlie?
Yeah, she was with Alicia.
Okay.
Dwight was like, I'm glad you made it just in time,
And even though we didn't see Sherry, we got hey, you should really follow up with Sherry.
Right. We even saw Wes.
Oh, did we?
Yeah. Wes was in the cell with Mo and Grace and everybody.
So I honestly watched it like 2.5 times, and I didn't remember seeing Wes. I would have totally forgotten that.
And like I said, like they briefly just, I think it was like Salazar, Grace, Wes, and Mo, I think is the way it was in the cell. So yeah, we checked in with everybody, and I didn't need everyone to speak, and I don't always need everyone to be in every episode, but it was just good that the first episode back in the second half of the season, we literally checked in with everybody.
Cool.
Yeah. That was almost my good. But man.
Oh, go ahead.
Just the scene with John being a walker. That's going to stick with me.
So there's another moment of Morgan's dialogue that I really liked, where he talks about, you gave me that family, you've got to help me get them back, with Dory.
That's right.
There was some good dialogue in this episode, which I have been hard pressed to say that about these showrunners. So I'm pretty happy with this episode overall. And I liked the way that particular piece of dialogue reminded us how interconnected all of these characters are.
And now that we've talked it out a bit, it's interesting just how juxtaposed John Dory and Dakota were in this episode, in that, like, he didn't want to kill people. Like, that was his big hang up, is he didn't want to kill anybody anymore. He couldn't go on living because he didn't want to kill people. And here Dakota was offing people left and right because she wants to go on, she wants to do what she wants to do. And then for Morgan having to convince John that, you are the only reason why I am here, that I'm doing this, that I'm fighting for my family. And then Dakota later being like, no, you're only here because of me. Like, they were both just so juxtaposed to each other this episode. Which is probably why it went down the way it went down.
Yeah. And I was actually, I'm still laughing that you said you had a lot of bad. You have a lot of good, which is why you rated it as high as you did.
Exactly. Like, the parts that I disliked were terrible. And that's why, like, the first half, I seriously almost stopped the episode and texted you and been like, what?
What are you talking about? What is Omara talking about? Come on.
And so, but the parts that hit, they hit just right.
Yeah. I think that about clears out my rotting potpourri, other than to say I didn't feel like they explained the whole Dory slash dad slash you don't have to repeat your dad's mistakes thing all that well. I like did a little bit of internet digging to kind of try to figure out what happened to Dory's dad. And I don't know if I was just distracted and didn't pay enough attention. I didn't feel like they explained that as well as I wanted them to.
So the whole dad storyline, there was the picture, there was him talking about his dad.
Which, by the way, I'm going to interrupt you for just 30 seconds and say the cinematography of him being underwater and looking at that picture was beautiful. Okay.
I was just looking, so I just want to point out that it is me typing, not Dianne.
Not me. I am not typing. I am not texting. It is not a thing right now.
No. So, yeah. For those of you that complained about the typing and blamed it on
Thomas.
Dianne, it's probably me.
I would say some of it's me, but my keyboard isn't as loud as Marnell's is. So there we go.
Yeah, I actually have a mechanical keyboard, and it's super loud and it's annoying and I hate it. And it's not mine because it's not my gaming computer because my laptop is having issues. So, yeah. So the song is called To Believe by the Cinematic Orchestra.
It got quite a bit of attention, that song. And you know how big I am into music and how big I am into music that's used in The Walking Dead, but I didn't love it. It was okay. I didn't love it.
I really liked it, and along with the imagery.
Which, by the way, Marnell sent me a version of La Vie en Rose this weekend, which I just adore. Emily Watts released this year. It's amazing. Sorry, had to interrupt.
It's okay.
I love that song. I mean, I've never loved that song before. I love that version of that song. Okay, go ahead.
Like I said, it either came up on a series or show that I'm watching, or it came up on TikTok.
It was amazing.
That's like where I curate all my music. When
I've listened to it multiple times since you sent it to me.
When we used to buy CDs for a penny from BMG.
And then pieced out on the penny.
Right? It was like almost all soundtracks. Like I have such eclectic taste in music that soundtracks are the only way to go. So like now that's where I find most of my music is, you know, not the big popular artists. It's usually kind of, you know,
unless
obscure.
It's Tay-Tay.
Unless it's Tay-Tay, yeah.
Okay, sorry. So Cinematic Orchestra.
The song, along with the imagery of John Dory falling into the water from below, you know, and just looking up to the light, and he gets splashed into the water, and like the blood starts to spread, and he sinks down. Just that whole imagery was just very, very well done.
Yeah, no, I thought that was a beautiful scene. The music didn't move me quite so much, but the scene was beautifully filmed.
So again, I will reiterate, the way that John Dory went out was terrible. Like, to be shot in the heart and then by a teenage girl and pushed in the river.
Who was just being selfish because she wanted to continue sneaking in and out of Lawton.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the way that it went down was awful, but it was done so well. And that's all I got. I mean, like I said, the goods were goods, the bads were bads. There was very little ugly.
I'm going to give a tiny bit of feedback, a bit more feedback from Thomas O'Mara, and then I think we're going to call it for the night.
All right.
So all of the callbacks and similarities to Laura. Dakota said it was easy patching up Morgan because someone left all the supplies on one shelf. Laura did that. John washed up at the cabin, just like Laura washed up.
Mm-hmm.
Laura tried to steal the truck, but it wouldn't start because it needed new parts.
Wow. Good callbacks.
Mm-hmm.
I wondered about it was easy because somebody left them on the and I was like, did John, I was like, that's got to mean something, but I can't remember. And then, I completely forgot she tried to steal the truck.
Doesn't always have to mean something, John.
Oh, but it does.
But it does. All right. Anything else?
I think that is it. We are finishing up 10 minutes early.
I know. Well done.
Who
Indeed.
are these girls?
Someone who's on a mission.
Right?
And who's going to use her cruise control from here on out.
No more speeding tickets.
Oh my God, I can't afford any more speeding tickets.
How many points was that?
Well, I didn't look. I still need to get it out of my dash. But I don't think I said this on the podcast. I think I said this to you. So the police officer was very kind because I told him I might have been speeding because I was on my way in to see my new boyfriend. And I batted my eyelashes at him. And he was super cute. And he was like, wow, he must be really great. And I was like, yeah, he is. So he came back and handed me all of my information after he ran the ticket. And he was like, look, you were going 78. I'm going to bump it down to 74. That cuts the ticket in half.
Whew.
And then he said to me, I hope the two of you have a wonderful day.
Aww. Man, if I didn't already have a boyfriend,
Right?
who needs Tinder? Just speed.
He looked like he was like 12.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, but he was adorable. Adorable. And I did not have to flash any lace stockings at him either. He just was like good with me batting my eyelashes at him.
Well, I'm totally cool with you getting a speeding ticket and not having it end with you like hitting a moose. So just be careful.
And you know, like, here's the deal. I really am going to be a good girl and use my cruise control from here on out because it would not have been worth it to have a bad end for it to save me 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I really didn't save any time anyway because I was pulled over on the side of the road getting a ticket.
All right, everybody. Use your cruise control.
Don't speed.
Don't hate on celebrities on Twitter.
Especially not teenage celebrities.
Yes. And other than that, have a good week. And just remember,
Take it one dead day at a time.
Have a good one, everybody.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.